Alright guys, here we go. First we're going to start off by separating the harness a little, so it'll give us a little clearance. Yeah, take those clips off, grab some needle nose. Gives you a little bit more, separation. And these locking tabs, you gotta be careful with them because they're usually brittle and they break. As you can see, you push on it and just pull it out. Never pull it from the wire or from the harness, okay? Never pull anything like that because you most likely you will damage something. It definitely has the potential to damage something. And it's usually the wire that gets damaged. Alright, there you go. Oh, come on. This will lock back up again. There we go. Yeah, no big deal. Alright, now just a 10mm socket. There you go, 10mm socket. Take them off. We are going to do one coil with this, and that would be this one right here, the number 3. That's where the misfire was started at. That's what we saw that it went to. So we're going to put these aside, make sure we put them back where we got them from. It's usually what I like to do. They can actually go in anywhere, but in any other 4 tubes, they're no big deal, they're the same. Okay, now what I'm going to go ahead and do is 14mm spark plug socket. Go ahead and crack them loose. Just got a adapter for speed. Crack them loose. There you go. And there we are. For speed purposes, I'm going to use the ratchet, but if you're a beginner, don't try this. I wouldn't recommend you do this. Okay, this is actually the worst one, the number 4 cylinder. Besides the fact that somebody put champions in it, I wouldn't put these on there. This, okay, see the alignment of the side electrode to the center electrode? Yeah, you can see it. It's soft. See, in this one, see how it goes over. It's supposed to be lined up pretty much on center. And obviously this is the wrong plug, most likely. Somebody bent the side electrode down because it probably had a bigger gap. So yeah. Okay. Alright, this is what it's supposed to look like. Okay, you see how the side electrode is directly over the center electrode. Not sure if you can see that. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. Anyways, let's see how the side electrode is about a 90-degree bend on it. You notice the other one didn't. It was actually, because it was probably had a bigger gap. Okay. All right, guys. In sake for speed and shorter video, we already took the other 3 off. Okay. And one thing that I wanted to mention is that if you're a beginner, don't use power tools, any type of air tools. You should do it by hand. That's what's recommended by factory. It's do this by hand. Don't use power tools. The reason I'm doing it is because I've been doing it for so long that I can feel if it's binding or something's wrong. I can stop. Okay, I have the experience for it. But if you're a beginner, do it by hand. It's not that many turns. I'm just doing this for speed, so you do it by hand. Alright, another thing you want to do is try to look inside the cylinder. see what's happening in there. Look at the top of the piston and see if it's cleaning up. Has a high carbon buildup, oil buildup, or fresh oil, fuel, whatever. I use one of these little borescope camera. This one's a Wi-Fi one. You just kind of, you know, put that sucker in there pretty much, and that's what we're gonna do right now. Right, we're gonna do one by one. All right, guys, time to put it back now. As you can see, there was some buildup, and it wasn't that bad. It looked like it was cleaning off, but the piston wasn't all shiny, like if it's getting, you know, cooling in there, or water or whatever you want to call it. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Now, as I said, do this by hand. If you don't have the experience, don't do it like this. It's not recommended, but I have a lot of experience, so that's why I'm gonna do it like this. Not gonna go full throttle though, and as I said, it's just a little past snug, just to crush the gasket. Okay, it does have a gasket on there. Did you hear the ratchet change? Okay, that looks good. And hear the change? Okay. Now on this one, I'm going to show you the gasket. It's a crushed gasket. Take it back off real quick. And as you can see right there, see that? It's a little crushed now because this is the second time I had to do this to do a retake, but there you go. Just what it looks like. Oh, and make sure you always check the gap on the plugs. Okay, you know, with something like this one's supposed to be at 44 thousandths, and as you can see, that's about correct. Okay, this is a wedge type. You just wedge it in and stuff. Do not ever use one of those on one of these plugs. These plugs are very delicate, as you can see by the center electrode. You will damage it. And this is a $25 plug. You'll be out, you know, 25 bucks. This laser iridium. So, alrighty. So, yeah. So there's other types that grab the side electrode right here, and you can bend the side electrode open a little more or less. But never use one of these wedge type on this. These are for the old stuff. This is just for reference. And here we go. There's the last one's going back in. And as I said, you're not seeing oil, don't use power fluid. If you damage the threads, you'll be in a world of hurt. Okay, you're gonna have possibly serious problems. Notice how I'm choking the ratchet. Okay, let's see. Poor choice of words, but there you go. See that? That looks good. That looks good. Okay. You don't have to be very tight, just enough to crush the gasket. So we're putting a new coil on this one for the misfire. It's got a bad code. This is what it takes. This is a $100 coil on plug system. Okay. The only thing you really have to do on this is, we've already done it, but just doing it again because the footage was bad. Put a little bit of dielectric grease. You can see it there. Put a little dab on there. That's about it. Okay, that's all you gotta do. Then we're putting a new one right where it was. The dielectric grease does help, and you know, so the boot slips a little better. It's got several benefits, supposedly, you know, keep it from getting locked, you know, binding in there and stuff. But when you try to pull the plug out, you know, 20,000, 30,000 miles later, you try to pull that plug, that coil off, it's the rubber sticks to the porcelain. So that's supposed to help with that too. No, Putting all the coils back. This one actually had a little pinch of oil. Needs a valve cover gasket. Or with this one, I believe the tool seals are not serviceable, so you have to get a whole valve cover with these types. You know, no big deal. There. Very simple. This is a very simple procedure, and so is diagnosing. This one was simple to diagnose because of the, we did the coil switch test on it. Switch the coils back and forth, and wherever, you're looking for the misfire to move to other cylinders. And feel when it's loading up, right? There you go. Put this back. As I said, never pull these from the harness or the wire, because always grab it from the connector, because it does have the potential to get damaged. That one didn't want to click. It's locked in there though, but it didn't click. Okay. There we go. Hear that click? That one was smaller, but it did click in there. So you always want to give them a little tug. Make sure they're locked in. Push this back. Now, as I said, if the tabs get damaged, they're always around it. Either you replace the connector, or you can, we'll show you in another video of that, but what you can do for that. But that's pretty much it. Just putting the cover back on with the bolts, 3 bolts and stuff. And I'm not gonna do that to this right now. We still need to do more things to this, but if I do a valve cover on it, I will make a video on it. Alrighty. As you can see, there's not much to do in a tune-up nowadays. It's pretty much just changing out the spark plugs, inspecting the ignition system, and looking inside it. If you can, look inside these cylinders and see if you can see the top of the piston, see what it's doing, see if it's cleaning up, high carbon buildup, oil, wet with oil, or anything like that, wet with fuel maybe. Sometimes you can see that if you have a bad injector. So I mean, there's not much to it and stuff. It's not like back in the old days where you used to, it wasn't just inspecting ignition system and replacing the spark plugs. Usually you'd have to do cap, rotor, wires, condenser, points and condenser stuff. So there's a lot more to it. Adjust timing, adjust carburetor, and mostly nobody did, the adjustment of the carburetor if it ran good. You didn't really check the timing if it ran good, but I mean, that used to be part of it. Nowadays, all that stuff is with electronic ignition. It's all computer controlled. It's been simplified so much that, I mean, as you can see, a tune-up is just plugs and inspecting, looking inside, maybe the cylinder, seeing how the engine runs, stuff. However, with that being said, when it comes to diagnosis, it's a different story. Since the system has been simplified so much, there's all kinds of sensors and whatnot, electrical and electronic stuff that, if you have to diagnose it, it's it can get complicated. Okay. Doesn't seem like they made it easier for the diagnosis, but to do the general labor like a tune-up, yeah, it seems like it's very simple. It's nothing out of the ordinary, especially on this one. This one, the coils are right on top. You can get to them very easily, so with minimal effort. Okay, so that pretty much concludes our video here. And hope you guys watch it and like it. See you guys on the next one, because we have more on this one. This one's a work in progress, and there's one on headlight finishing, and did the headlights, and the blower motor wasn't working, so got a video on showing you how to check the blower motor when it's got a integrated solid state resistor. So I'll show you how to check that. Make sure it's the blower, just throw your money away, because the blower's about $200. So yeah. stick around, if you want to see more videos.